The second project we will present to you under the category of improving housing conditions for the urban poor is the Kampung Improvement Programme in Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia. Kampung is the term that is used in Indonesia for informal settlements. In fact, it is interesting to note that 3 Kampung Improvement projects have received the Aga Khan Award for Architecture over the years. This particular project was a recipient of the first cycle of the award in 1980. This project is rather involved and complex. It extended over a 10-year period from 1969 to 1979 and included 2 5-year phases. As a result, we will be presenting it to you in 2 segments. In this segment, we will be presenting to you an introduction to kampungs and an introduction to this particular improvement program. And in the upcoming segment, we will be presenting to you more detailed information about the program itself. These Kampung Improvement Programs basically accept the existence of slum areas. However, what they do is that they upgrade the infrastructure networks in these areas and also provide them with a number of public services, particularly relating to education and to health. In this particular case, the program concentrated on 3 areas of improvement. The first area was that of mobility. Accordingly, streets were widened and paved, footpaths were paved, and bridges for pedestrians were built over canals. The second area of improvement concentrated on sanitation. Accordingly, drainage canals were created, clean water was provided, and sewage networks were developed. The third area of development was providing public services relating to health and education, and accordingly, both health clinics and schools were constructed. Another advantage to a project of this nature is that it causes minimal disruption to the lives of the residents of the kampungs. Much of the improvement work actually takes place in the rights of way located in the kampung. As a result, very little demolition takes place. In fact, less than 3% of the building stock of the kampung had to be removed as a result of this program. When the project was begun in 1969, Greater Jakarta already had a population of 8 million people. Today, the population has reached about 30 million people. Much of this is the result of the incredible migration taking place from rural areas to the city. At the initiation of the project, it was estimated that about 60% of the area of Jakarta consisted of kampungs, and about 75% of the population of Jakarta lived in kampungs. The kampungs generally had a density of about 500 people per hectare. Each plot would house 2 families, and each family usually would consist of 5 members. In addition, the plot sizes were relatively small. They ranged from about 40 to 60 square meters. For the more recent kampungs, the areas generally are larger and can reach about 160 square meters. However, the older kampungs are more centrally located and also are more permanent. The housing in the kampungs generally was self-built, and usually the houses were made of discarded and found objects. Usually the floors were dirt or clay floors, the walls were made of bamboo, and the roofs were thatched. Water from the city's pipe network was only available to those who lived next to the main roads. The others living in the kampungs needed to rely on private water vendors to supply them with their needs of water. And it was not unusual for them to have to pay 5 times as much for their water as those who received their water from the city's piped network. Some people would dig wells and use manual pumps to obtain the water. These wells, however, were susceptible to contamination, since sewage would often seep into them. In fact, indoor plumbing was non-existent at that time.